Okay, so a lot of people ask me, what is the best controller settings? Now, I don't actually use classic. I use old school ISS controls. Now, there's a couple of reasons why, but I want to keep this video as short and sweet as possible so you don't have to waste your time going through a NealGuides documentary. But the shoot button is on square. The reason for this is because when I have possession of the ball, if I do a fake shot, if you have the control in your hand, put your thumb on the square and X button like you're going to do a fake shot. Your thumb naturally rests in that position. Okay. Also, when I want to make a pass or I want to shoot, my right analog stick is right next to the shoot button, decreasing the reaction time to press the shoot button, especially for time shooting. Okay. The only thing that I think I disagree with, which I should change, is sprint. But I can technically sprint should be on R2 because that way you can use the R2 button or like this, should I say, like a trigger in your car, like a gas pedal. But to be honest, we're playing ISS control since 1998. I ain't changing after 20 years, maybe getting close to 30 years now. So no chance I'm changing. On the defending end, the tackle button is next to the right analog stick. So when I switch players, I can tackle quicker. But also another trick. Sometimes let's say your opponent has the ball, when you press the X button, sometimes the game automatically passes the ball away instead of tackling. That can only happen because when you're attacking, the pass button is X, and when you're defending, the tackle button is X. So when there's a guaranteed chance of winning the ball, the game actually scoops and forces the pass away as opposed to tackling. That is one way you can avoid rebounds. That's a NealGuides top tip. It can help reduce them and also win the ball better and transition quicker. Okay? Contain is the most useless button inside the game, so who cares about that? Teammate contain. Why is this important? Because when let's say for example, I'm pressing at a very high level, do I want to be holding the L2, R2, and R1? Can you imagine trying to hold all three of those buttons? You're going to put your hand in a very awkward position. But if I just run and jockey with the L2 and R2, I'm ignoring me using R1 as an example here, and then square it on teammate contain. If I want to right stick switch between players and apply teammate contain, they're both close together. So I can right stick, I don't have to reach all the way here to press R1. I can just right stick switch, press the square button to teammate contain. I can press the X button for pressure. So the most common controls that I use 99% of the time are going to be the shoot, teammate contain, and pass, and of course the right and left analog stick. So my left finger, of course, uses the left analog stick 90% of the time, and maybe the L2 button. My right hand is focusing on these buttons. How often do you cross the ball? Not often as you make a pass all the time. How often do you do a through ball? Not often as you make a regular pass. So that is why I have this layout. Now, to be honest, you can use classic. What a NealGuides top tip I'll give you is use classic. Just turn the teammate contain button to X. You can do that as well. That way, when you're tackling, you can hold teammate contain and tackle at the same time. Old school com pressure for any of the ISS PES players. But that's what I'd recommend is the best controller settings. I know you didn't want to go into this long-wind documentary, and let's end the video. But those of you that want to stay on and listen to some other reasons why, the tackle button, look, the only downside with this setup, the only downside with this is you can see on custom A, and this is the only downside right now. If I go over to gameplay and I scroll down and I change this to advanced defending, that is when the controls don't work properly. I hope there's a fix for this because as it stands, if square is my physical tackle, then square is also teammate contain. It's a bit of a weird one. Like, does my player do a physical tackle and teammate contain at the same time? So there's no resolution to changing this, not now anyway. So you're basically stuck. What do? You're stuck. Now, what you could do, hypothetically, let's say, like, okay, you know what, Neal? I'm not saying you should change your controls, by the way. This is just in case you're wondering what I use. Let's say, like, oh, you know what, Neal? Hypothetically speaking, I want to change that, right? So what you could do, for example, is you could, for example, when you're defending, so I'm just going to do a quick switcheroo here. Run, jockey, teammate contain. Swap teammate contain to, for example, square. And then you can put change player like that. So this could be a potential solution. And then make your tackle button circle like this. So technically your sliding tackle would be like that. Now this is if you don't use a sliding tackle, right? Now let me show you. We go back to game settings, and then we go back to advanced defending. You can see, look, the buttons also change as well. So what you could do, in theory, is you can find a combination. Now, do I want triangle to be my stand tackle? No. Do I want R1 to be my seal out? No. So what you can do is just keep going back and just finding the correct combination. It's annoying. Trust me, it's really, really annoying. So like what you could do is you could do, I don't know why these are messed up. One second. Let me just sort this out here. Now you can see these are for the attacking controls. So let's say I do a lob pass on circle, do a through ball on triangle, and shoot a square. Okay, so we're going to keep all these the same. And this is very, very important you remember this, because when you're trying to configure, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, how do you configure this? So you can see, look, if I go here to advanced defending, it changes. Also, they've changed it this year. Okay, so it's mapped. Okay, what? So it's mapped. Hang on. Okay. I'm actually doing this. I didn't even know they changed this, but you know what? I'm not even going to cut this out. I'm going to keep this in. Okay. So slide tackle. So if I, in theory, I wish there was a way you could set what buttons you want to use here, but you can't. If I go like this, I think the only solution is we remove teammate contain from being. Let me just get out of this 1 second. Let's double check this actually. Literally doing this. We might have to skip towards the end of this video. Short pass. Why does this keep changing? Through ball's meant to be triangle. Short pass meant to be X. Lob pass. Okay, sorry about this. Unless I've done something wrong here. It is when I'm recording this 4 o'clock in the morning. Let me just double check this. Okay, yeah. So yeah, the only way you can change it, yes, I was right initially. I was just confused for a second. The only way you can change it normally is if it's because sometimes when you change your attack, it's some change defense. Like I understand. So the only way you can change this is if you move teammate contain to another button. For example, if I swap these two around and I make teammate contain X. Let's have a look now. If I make teammate contain X, which is kind of more like a legacy. Okay. That sucks. So you cannot use. I thought you could, but you cannot use advanced defending. Well, you can, but you have to remap teammate contain to something else. But yeah, that's just the video. I'm just gonna leave this in the video because I thought it was a solution, but sometimes I get things wrong, and this is one of those occasions. But I thought there was a way last year. I'll see if I can figure that next year, and well, next year, this year, see if I can figure it out. But anyway, that's my controller settings. Thanks for watching.